Hey, this is my you and my son here. You good? I got you the peppers and I got you the protein style double double. You like that?
What about my other kids?
What you mean other kids?
I got 2 more kids in this car.
Them ain't my kids. I bring food for my son only. I don't bring food for everybody else's kids. That's for my son right there. That ain't my responsibility. What they daddy said?
If you bring one son, you bring all.
I'm not bringing, no, that's not how, I'm old school. I don't know how you was raised, but how I was raised, you take care of what's yours, and that was another man. I don't take care of another man's responsibility. I got my own child. All my kids is taken care of. Why his kids starving like that?
For real?
You should reevaluate who you sleep with and have these kids by if they can't afford their kids.
Are you serious?
You gotta think about, I only got one kid by you. I can't feed all your other kids. I'm sorry, kids, but I can't feed you. I only can feed my son. I can't be feeding everybody else's kids. That's not how it works. So you need to go reevaluate whoever you had them kids by and go call him, because them not my babies. And I'm just keeping it like that. You told me to come up here, meet you up here with my son, and get him something to eat, and I did that. I ain't got to come bring your other kids something to eat because I brought my son something. You got me messed up.
Okay, all right.
That's not how I'm coming, though. You got to understand where I'm coming from.
Okay.
That's for you and my son. Y'all can eat with your other kids. They're going to have to get fed by somebody. I'm sorry. I am sorry that you had to sleep with a bum dude like that. But me personally...
All right, okay. I understand. All right, okay.
You understand? I'm not feeding.
All right, you ain't got to keep saying it. You ain't got to... All right, okay.
You got to stop. You know what I'm saying? You understand me, right? You got to start realizing who you sleeping with. Call him. Don't come up here and try to expect me to bring your kids something to eat because I brought my son something. That ain't how it work, baby. I'm from old school.
I'm just saying, if you bring one son, you bring all.
That's not how.
You know it's other kids in this car, though.
I'm not bringing him nothing. I'm not bringing your kids nothing. That's for my son.
You know it's other people in this car, though.
You got to check out, look it from my perspective.
All right, whatever.
If you ask me to bring my son something to eat, why would I think about another man's kids? Make it make sense, though. Listen to yourself. You want me, Christopher Edward Key Jr., dad, to bring all your other kids some food too? You got me messed up. I'm not that type of dude.
Okay.
I'm a player. I'm not a trick. You hear me?
I ain't say you was a trick.
I'm not coming like that. You know what I'm saying? So stop playing me like that. Right now you starting to disrespect me as a man.
How I'm disrespecting you? Because I just said... where the rest of the food at?
See, that's why I don't like deal with this type of interactions with you.
All I said was, where the rest of the food at? Because there's other kids.
I'm letting you know, I'm not bringing them other kids no food. It's only for my son and you. That's all I'm responsible for. You my baby mama. I gotta make sure you straight. I gotta make sure my son's straight. Okay. But them other kids, that's they daddy job. Call Lee Ryan and Daryl. Call them. Them they kids. Them ain't Chris kids.
All right, I understand.
Them ain't my kids.
But I'm just saying though.
Yeah, it ain't what you just saying. It's where I'm coming from. Though, as a man, you can't disrespect me and expect me to bring your kids something to eat, and I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I got my own son. I got my own
responsibility. Go on about your business.
I'm gone,
bro. Some of y'all ain't gonna like what I got to say about this whole situation, so don't beat me down too bad. So when I look at this situation, the first thing that I see is that there was a manipulation that was being done by the mother of the children. She obviously called him, and I hope that this is a skit, but if it's not, but we know art imitates life. She obviously called him and said, could you bring food for me and your son? She did not say, could you bring food for me and all my children? Just me and my son. If she had been upfront in that situation from the very beginning when they were on the phone, then they would have had this conversation not in front of the children. This conversation would have never happened in front of those children so that they get to witness the trauma of this situation. It would have been something that would have been cleared up from the very beginning, and all things could have been handled however they would have turned out. If I was receiving that phone call, I would have said, well, here's the deal then. Because I'm not feeding your other children, I will come by, I will pick up my son, I will take him out, I will feed him, and I will bring him back. But what I'm not going to do is feed these other men's children. Now, a lot of women and a lot of men had problems with that, saying that you don't let a child starve. But I'm not taking the place of some other man's responsibility because the woman has made bad choices or she's not willing to go through whatever length she has to go through in order to make sure that those other fathers are taking care of their children as well. And as far as the government is concerned, things like that are considered a gift and they're not part of child support. So I would also wonder, what is she doing with the money that these kids are not eating? No one asked, why is she allowing for the kids to be starving or hungry in the first place? What is she doing with any money that she is receiving? No one questioned that. They were saying an old school man would just go ahead and pay for all the kids. No, they don't. You see, I grew up in a household where me and my brother and sister had different fathers. I grew up in a large extended family where I saw my cousins and their fathers were not part of they weren't married to their mothers. And so I seen, and all of them lived in Cobb County. My father lived in Florida. So I would see constantly how their fathers would come and get them. Their fathers would bring them gifts. Their fathers would do these things with them. My dad's in Florida. I wasn't participating in that. So as a child, did I feel it? Yeah, I felt it. So I understand how the kids are going to feel. But even as I've grown up, I have never looked at their fathers in a bad way to think that they should have taken care of me. It wasn't their responsibility to take care of me. Just because they bought my sister or my brother a Christmas gift, they were under no obligation to buy me Christmas gifts. When they did things for their birthday, they were under no obligations to do anything for me on my birthday. So all this old school stuff is some old school bullshit. The real old school is that men took care of their children. You got some who would have taken care of all of them. But if I'm not in a relationship with you, I'm not taking care of all the children. That's just not going to happen. And maybe I'm a little biased because my 3 children, they only have me as a father and they only have their mother as their one mother as their mother. But if she were to have had a child with someone else, that child is not my responsibility and never would be my responsibility. It's the other father's responsibility. Now, this conversation should have never happened in front of the children. Once she made her statement of where's the other food, and he said, you only told me you was bringing you and my son. I got something for y'all, and that's it. Out of the goodness of my heart, I got you something. He doesn't have any responsibility to her. But he then should have just walked away and had a conversation with her afterwards in private, not in front of the children. But her manipulation didn't work. She figured that he would show up, maybe have a big chicken bucket, and all the kids and her can eat. She figured that she would have this conversation with him in front of the kids and he would go off and get them something to eat. Her manipulation backfired on her. It didn't work out the way she wanted it to work. And my only problem with him is that he shouldn't have had the conversation in front of the children. It should have just been like, no, this is all that I got, and leave. Let her figure it out. She'll probably spread the food out amongst the children anyway, but just walk away. And then later on, don't ever do that again. This is not my responsibility. But for everybody who's saying that he should have given food for everybody, in what senile ass world do you live in where it is somebody's responsibility to take care of everybody else's kids? So let me ask you a question for all the women who were saying that he should have done that. This gentleman obviously have kids by other women, as he said within his own statements. Is she responsible for making sure those kids are fed? Is she responsible for making sure those kids have clothes? Is she responsible for making sure those kids have a roof over their heads while they're living with their mother? Not with him, but with their mother. Or even if they were living with him. Is she responsible for making sure if his other kids are living with him, that she needs to help take care of those kids? I don't even have to wait for your answers. I already know your answer is no. So why do you expect it to go the other way? I will tell you this. I am sick of the double standards that we proliferate between men and women. We don't live in the 1950s, the 40s, the 30s, the 20s. Get with the times. Or just stop having babies. Be more discerning as to who you get with, both men and women. Because much of this drama can be eliminated if you just take more time to get to know the person before you procreate with the person. But what do you guys think? And always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.